Welcome. You're listening to Evolve, where we teach you how to heal, thrive, grow, and transform your life in positive ways. I'm your host, Psychic Medium Victoria Alvarado. And today's podcast, I will be providing you with tips that can be helpful if you do plan on visiting a medium to connect to your loved ones on the other side of the veil. And I will explain the differences between seeing a psychic versus a medium or a tarot reader. And if there is a difference in receiving a telephone session versus an in-person session. If you've ever thought about visiting a medium or planning to visit a medium, here's a few tips I'm going to give you today. One is, if you recently lost a loved one and plan on reaching out to a medium, please make sure that you have gone through the bereavement process, because you do need to be emotionally calm. Mediums have a tendency to pick up on energy, and it can interfere with the connection to those that are in the afterlife. Generally speaking, I suggest waiting at least 3 to 6 months to give yourself time to grieve and allow your loved one time to make the transition to the other side fully and get acclimated to the other side. I'd like to think that they have to learn how to communicate with the medium on this plane, much like learning how a new computer hardware system works, or how to work a DVR. A medium can give you the evidence of the afterlife. We can help educate that there is a life after death, and our loved ones really do go on. However, you do need to decide if what you're needing is assistance of a psychic or a medium. There is actually a difference between the two. For example, psychics perceive and mediums receive. What that means, this is what that means, is that many people feel that going to a medium, that their loved one can give you advice on your earthly concerns about money, relationships, business, career, your health, etc., etc. But they can't. They can only guide you by giving you some wisdom or help that you may be at the right place at the right time, or at the wrong place at the wrong time. But I wouldn't advise getting financial tips from Uncle Joe if he made bad investments when he was alive. Just because he is on the other side doesn't mean he can assist you now. It's not like all of a sudden he's a guru now that he's crossed over. However, getting guidance on such subjects when it concerns money, relationships, business, health, career, things like that, you would really want to consult a psychic instead. A psychic is someone who is working with you by getting the information from your aura, by tapping into your energy. Your past, present, and potential future is able to be picked up by the psychic because we're tuning into that energy vibration that is around you. I say potential because the future is not set in stone. Your choices, your actions, your decisions, even your inactions can alter the outcome of potential future. A psychic gets information from you by reading your Akashic records also. Now, let me just say this, is that there are different parallel instances or different parallel lines that can determine whether or not this is how your future is going to go. So in other words, if we say that this is what we see happening in the next 6 months, yada, 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 that is pretty much an alternate timeline or a parallel timeline that we're seeing that could be the potential outcome if you choose to do that. Now, if you decide not to follow the advice or the guidance or the wisdom from the psychic, then of course that's going to change the whole entire outcome altogether. So what I would like to say is that several parallel lives that run simultaneously as a life that we're currently living now, however, is all on the same timeline. So again, this is all on your life timeline. There's your alternate timeline, there's your parallel timeline that we like to call quantum physics. Scientists speak of several life occurrences which could all be taking place all at the same time, and you can learn lessons from that. This type of information would be held in the Akashic Hall of Records. By tuning into your current timeline, which is the path you're currently taking, we can see what the outcome would be if you decided, or if you even did a specific action, etc., etc. And we can provide you with the potential outcome of that future based on that decision. Now, a medium, we get information from someone directly on the other side. So before you plan on visiting a medium, figure out, what do you want help with? Ask yourself, do I want help with your earthly concerns, regarding your money, it's regarding your relationships, whether or not you should buy a house, or whether or not something's going on in your relationship or your career, or if you should change jobs, things like that. That's something that you would want to really connect with the psychic for. Or do you want to connect to somebody that has passed because you miss them and you want to know that they're all right? If you do want to see a medium, I would advise to go by word of mouth, although you can find many through ads or on the internet. My best advice is to go to someone that you know someone has already gone to before. If you don't know anyone who can refer you, then select someone who has many personal reviews that speak highly of their experiences with them. So if you see a ton of testimonials that are very positive, and that people that have gone before reviewed them and that they have all had plenty of good experiences, then I would suggest going to that person. Or go check one out at a group medium gallery event. There's plenty of mediumship gallery events in your area that you can search and to see whether or not you want to sit in. If you go to a group gallery event, I highly encourage it, because then you'll be able to see how a medium is and how mediumship is conducted before scheduling a one-on-one consultation. For example, I conduct group gallery events for both small or big events where an audience is present, and I showcase my talents by connecting a few audience members with their loved ones on the other side. Now, when I connect to the energy of loved ones on the other side, I can't force certain people to come through. I just open up, and then those that are ready to come over, they will pretty much connect with me. So in the group setting, you'll be able to see how the afterlife, and that there's proof and evidence that there is life after death, because I'm going to receive that information and relay it to the people in the audience. Now, I would say that in a group setting like this is an amazing experience, because you get to see firsthand for yourself the information that comes through and the reactions from not only from the person receiving the message, but the people in the audience as well. But seeing a medium in action is the best way you can see if you resonate with that medium, because not every medium is for everyone. Just like everybody else has different personalities, you may not resonate with the personality of the medium that you've gone to see. Just like not every psychic is for everyone. You may like the way the energy and how one particular psychic or medium interacts with you versus another. Now, now many people have high expectations or certain expectations about how a sitting with a medium should go. From my experience with a group audience setting and sitting with many people, the experience is never the same. Okay. For instance, if you're coming to connect with mom, but your uncle or grandmother come through instead, please keep in mind that no medium can guarantee that they will connect with a specific person. If a medium tells you that they can guarantee that a specific person will come through, you should walk away, because we as mediums are not in control of it. Okay. Spirit's in control. They are in control. They are the ones who call us. We don't call them. However, we most likely can get the mom if that is who you're trying to connect with. But be aware that other people can come through once we open up. And the reason is that sometimes if you have someone, say for instance, you're trying to get a hold of your mom, but when your mom was here on the earth plane, she didn't quite like the whole witchy woo-woo aspect of connecting to those on the other side, or she just didn't like the whole non-religious, or she felt that this was bad, or she was very religious and she didn't like this type of stuff, then of course she's not going to come through, and you can't expect her to if she's not feeling comfortable. What I have found is that the spirits on the other side, when you connect, they may designate the uncle, or they may designate someone else to bring messages through. So again, when we connect, we automatically relay what we receive from those on the other side of the veil. For example, I had a woman come to me for a psychic reading with her mother recently, and she was so upset because as soon as they walked in the room, I said, "Man, you guys have a lot of spirits with you. I see 2 males that have passed away, one run right after the other, and the other 2 are a male and female that crossed over a few years back, 2 males from the dad's side of the family, and the other 2 are from the mom's side of the family. Can you confirm this?" And of course, after delivering the messages to the clients, she was still upset because they had specific questions about family, but in actuality, they brought in messages about a specific family issue currently going on. Now, again, I can't control what comes through. And so they had to validate what I was receiving. Okay. This was more of a private session that was a psychic and a mediumship reading, but they had high expectations of only hearing from one person. And because that person didn't come in, they had high expectations to hear from that one person. They were upset, even though the people that did come through from the other side that they were able to validate did help with their situation. Now, I've had people who come for a sitting where an uncle came through to apologize. I described how he had red hair and had a beard or facial hair and other descriptions that my client was able to validate, and how he came through to apologize. And the sitter got so angry because she didn't want to speak to the uncle. She had some personal issues with that particular person, and she wanted to know why would he come through when she hated him for what he did to the family. And the only response I can give was that he wanted to be acknowledged and needs to say he was sorry for his actions for when he was alive. He may not have realized how his behavior affected everyone, and maybe when he was on the earth plane, he didn't care or didn't realize until he went to the other side. And now that she came for a sitting, that he now wanted to apologize for his actions. But being only the other side, I feel they go through some sort of life review. Let me just say this. Let me just clear that back up because I'm getting tongue-tied here. Now, let me just say this. Just because you're on the other side doesn't mean that you're not going to go through some sort of life review. I would like to think that they go through a life review, and when they're on the other side, there is no more ego. Okay? And so since there's no more ego and they're being shown the mistakes that they did when they were alive, and they can, pretty much see without having the ego get in the way, they can somehow try to rewrite their wrongs, or at least, like the uncle did, came in to apologize. Okay? Whether she was open and receptive to the message, that was not for me to decide. I am only the messenger. I can only give what I receive. For example, my husband, okay, let me just talk about my husband for a little bit. His grandmother was severely ill one time, and I remember several months beforehand I had a precognition through my dreams that she was going to pass, and I explained to him, look, hey, I need you to visit your grandmother as much as possible and see her, because I really feel like this is going to be the last year that you're going to have her here. Well, several months passed, and she had an accident, and it put her in the hospital, and she had to be put on life support. And so the family had to all gather around her and to make the decision to take her off of life support. But before she was taken off, she came through very strongly to tell me that she was upset about the family letting the doctors cut off her hair, and that she wanted her head to be covered before she could cross over. Now, I wasn't very close with the grandmother or to some of the family, so I wasn't aware that the grandmother had this thing about people touching her hair or going to get her hairstyle, things like that, or even just having it cut. And so my sister-in-law was informed of the message, and she had prayed, and she asked, well, if this is something that you're wanting, Grandma, that you want us to cover your head before you pass over, then I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing and you can help me. So my sister-in-law ran to the gift shop at the hospital, and of course this is the first time she was there. She had no idea where she was going, and as she was getting turned around in the hospital, again, she kept praying, Grandma, if this is something that you really want us to cover your head, can you please help me find the gift shop and get there on time? So as she got to the gift shop, she was 2 minutes past closing, and she was so disappointed, but the clerk decided to open the door for her, and she was able to buy some form of hat. And as soon as she placed it on her grandmother's head, the grandmother was able to cross over. Now, keep in mind that sometimes other people can come through to let you know who your mom or loved one is with. Okay. So also, as I said before, that if your father or your mom or your loved one has strong negative beliefs about this sort of stuff, they will still carry this belief on the other side. But I can still see them standing in the corner with their arms folded. This has happened to me a couple of times. And not wanting to speak, but someone else will come through to speak for them. And other times a spirit may come in very chatty and jokey, much like the way they were when they were alive. Also keep in mind that if you are married and you come for a sitting and hope to connect with your mother, you may get your spouse's mother instead. You may want your dad to come in, and you may get your spouse's brother or grandfather. You may say, why does this happen? Well, it happens because they know that you're sitting there, and they may know that the person, your husband or your spouse, won't come to this type of stuff. Okay, even if you have a neighbor. Okay, one time my client came in and the neighbor's husband came through. Okay, and they know that they can get a message to you directly, and that you will turn around and give the message to the loved one, or even, like I said, that this person knew that, okay, well, my neighbor's here, and I know that my neighbor talks to my wife or my spouse or my relative, and I know she'll go back and tell. Okay, so with that being said, that very particular instance where the neighbor came through, the neighbor's husband came through to talk to my client, she was like, wow, she would never come. She knew that her friend, the neighbor, would never come to someone like me. Okay, maybe because of her religious beliefs, or maybe she just didn't think that, that she would ever visit someone like me. But she was able to pass on the message to her. So be open to whomever comes through. Go with an open mind if you are going to see a medium. Don't put up walls. You have to keep an open mind, because this is a three-way communication. It's not just me and you, the sitter. It is myself, the messenger. It is you, the listener, and those on the other side. When you put up walls, you block this connection. The connection the medium makes is much like a radio. I have to tune into the right frequency that can transmit a clear connection. If something is blocking the connection of the station, the frequency won't come in clear enough. So it's important to be open-minded to allow the connection to flow in strongly and clearly. Remember, from spirit, your loved one, through spirit, the medium, to spirit, which is you. I've had clients that as soon as I say I have a mother-like figure here, they say, no, my mother's alive. But as I give more information, they say, oh, that's my husband's mom or my grandmother that raised me. My mother wasn't around much. A medium's job is to show you that your loved one is still with you and that there is life after death. I think what is awesome about mediumship and with psychic readings is that it's providing the client with evidence of something that we can't possibly know about. For example, during a sitting with me, whether psychic or mediumship, I prefer to speak first by letting my client know what I receive. So I prefer to be the one to talk first, and so that way I can validate that I am connecting to your energy, and that you can validate that I know what I'm talking about. And so letting me tell you, the client, what I'm picking up on your situation before you say anything, to me not only gives me reassurance that I am the real deal, but for you to validate the information that I'm bringing through also shows both of us I've tuned into the personal situation or the loved one on the other side, and then you'll say, oh my God, she's the real deal. So when I connect, I may say that you or someone just bought a house. Or for example, one client, the spirit said someone graduated and I saw the colors gold and black and hats being tossed in the air. And when I relayed this information about the school colors, my client was able to say, yes, actually, my sister or my daughter just graduated and that's the school colors. Another client, I saw the number 4 and I kept saying sports for a child, and the sitter said, no, my son doesn't play sports. But 6 months later, I get an email and the same client sends me a photo of her son with the number 4 jersey. And she said that her son decided to play baseball, and this is the jersey number that they had given him. So she said it didn't dawn on her until it hit her months later that I had literally seen him playing sports in the number 4. And because this was a phone session, he didn't know anything about this and she didn't say anything. So even though your loved one has crossed over, they are still very much around you and a part of your life. So this was also evidence for her that her loved one was still around, keeping an eye on the family. So what is the difference between a psychic reading and a tarot reading? When we come back, I'm going to answer that question for you, and we're going to go on a quick break.
We want to talk about Victoria Alvarado. She is the real thing. She was able to pick up on my love issues, which was true. With Victoria, she's very in sync with energy, and she was able to pick up on my energy right away.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I've been seeing Victoria now for 3.5 years. I was hurting somehow. She pinpointed the areas that were being affected. I gave her a call and she started the healing process. Immediately afterwards, she told me about how my body was going to heal and how I could help it heal along. And I noticed a change immediately.
Hi, I'm psychic medium Victoria Alvarado. As a psychic, I'm able to connect to the past, present, and future. And as a medium, I'm able to connect to your loved ones and those that are in spirit. And if you ever wanted to know about your future and what the future holds for you, or if you needed to find answers to those daunting questions that are lingering in your mind, contact me at www.victoriaalvarado.com.
Are you looking for a new perspective in life? Victoria Alvarado, psychic medium in Houston, Texas, is one of the top 5 fortune tellers in the area. With her gift, she has spiritually guided thousands from around the world. She identifies and removes obstacles that prevent you from achieving your full potential in life, love, and career. Other services include psychic tarot readings, chakra balancing, aura cleansings, Reiki healing, and more.
We are back. You're listening to Evolve. I'm your host, Psychic Medium Victoria Alvarado, and we were just getting ready to talk about what the difference is between a psychic reading and a tarot reading. So the main difference between a psychic reading and tarot reading is not the use of cards, it's the mindset and the questions being asked. Tarot is full of symbols and stories, which makes a tapestry of metaphors for the questions that are asked to it. However, tarot may not be right for everyone. For example, if you have very specific questions that you would like to ask the angels or guides, tarot may not be the best choice for your reading. However, maybe you have more generalized questions and would like to get an overview of the situation. This is tarot reading cards. This is when tarot reading cards are handy. They can help both you and the reader get a general sense of the energies that are coming into your life through a certain situation. One more difference between a regular intuitive reading and a tarot reading is that tarot cannot stand alone. It must be packed up with natural instincts and the advice of the intelligence that guides the reader. A psychic reading can sometimes stand alone. However, it may lack the extra information that can be gained through tarot. Depending on the reader, I'm getting tongue-tied again, tarot intuitive readings may be slightly slower paced than other psychic readings. Tarot cards can take only moments to lay out, but having the cards there does help help keep the readers and your mind on track and help you explore the questions very well. The most important thing to keep in mind, however, is that tarot card readings are nothing more than one more way that the guides communicate with a psychic intuitive. Some readers do not connect at all with tarot. Others find that it clarifies their visions and improves their ability to see details. But some readers don't like to use any form or any tools at all. They like to rely only on their intuition and their psychic abilities and talents to relay the messages and guidance that they receive to their sitter. When it comes to the differences, tarot card readings can be done by anyone. It can be learned through different ways, and it can be interpreted by anyone reading it. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to have a specific psychic intuitive gifts, But tarot can be relearned by everyone, and everybody has their own interpretation of what they see that is being laid out by the cards. But for a person to read tarot cards along with psychic reading methods, the person should know how to use the power of their intuition. So you can still get a good psychic reading from someone who actually uses their intuition and is able to perceive information from source. It is important that a person is able to make use of this kind of ability to read all of the connected readings behind the situation of a client. What makes psychic readings different from the basic reading that tarot readers does is that they make use of certain psychic gifts that they have. The difference with a psychic person reading tarot cards is that the psychic reader is able to provide readings not only with the present situation, but also with the future and tell about the past as well. People should know that there are specific people who are given the gift of being a psychic or have inherited it from their ancestors. There is this line of people who are able to gain these psychic abilities due to the fact that their ancestors had it and was used and practiced by the succeeding generations. What makes psychic readings more interesting is that the psychic reading the cards is able to know the right answers for a person through the energy and intuition that the psychic has. The psychic is able to provide the answers needed by the person based from the energy and the meaning of the cards. It is sure to be the reason why psychic readings has its individuality than tarot card readings alone. When you are selecting between a toolless psychic reading and tarot reading, you should consider if you trust the reader to be honest and ethical or not. Trust is an essential element of any reading, whether it's mediumship, psychic, or tarot. So that you don't feel instinctively that your selected reader is trustworthy, then it's better to wait and find a reader that you feel you can trust. This is why whenever I do sittings with my clients, I like to tell my sitter what I am receiving first, what I perceive first is going on. And that way they know that there is a strong connection there before using any type of tarot cards or angel oracle cards, or before allowing the client, my sitter, to start asking questions. You don't want to ask questions beforehand because you don't want to have a cold reading. What you want is to have a reading that's based on knowing that you're comfortable with the person and that you know that the person is actually receiving information from the other side or using their gifts that can help you and that you can validate it. Tarot readings and psychic readings are both worthwhile, but trust your own intuition when selecting which one is right for you. Now let's talk about the different types of psychic abilities. One is clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is clear seeing. Clairvoyance is an inner seeing. It is the most well-known but least understood intuitive gift on our list of psychic abilities. I would describe it as watching a little movie inside your head. Someone who is clairvoyant is not necessarily seeing the future or having dramatic psychic visions like you see in the movies. Rather, clairvoyance can be very subtle. For example, you may just see a color, a number, or even a symbol. You may or may not understand that what these images mean, and they are not always meant to be taken literally. Many mediums use their clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, in order to communicate with spirit and those that are on the other side. Clairsentience, which is clear feeling. Clairsentience is the ability to receive intuitive messages via feelings, emotions, or physical sensations. Empathy, feeling the emotions of others, is also a form of clairsentience. He's a great example of clairsentience. Because I am extremely empathic and clairsentient, I can feel absolutely everything. If out in public like school, work, or the store, I can sense whether someone is sad, angry, or ecstatic. I may feel drained or exhausted being around someone who is negative. I can even feel the physical elements of others. If you've ever attended one of my group healing sessions, you may have noticed that I can pinpoint certain areas of a person's body that may have pain. Clairaudience. Clairaudience is clear healing. Clairaudience is a way of receiving intuitive messages without using the physical ears. Now let me explain. Think of clairaudience as an inner healing. For example, think of clairaudience as an inner healing. For example, why do I keep hearing healing? Oh my God, there's somebody needing a healing today. Well, anyways, think of clairaudience as an inner hearing. For example, you may suddenly hear that little voice inside you say, go right or stop. When a highly sensitive person, such as a psychic or a medium is clairaudient, they are able to hear things that others cannot, such as a spirit's voice, sounds, and even music. For example, spiritual mediums are often clairaudient and can hear words, phrases, and names from those who have passed on. Most times the medium will hear spirit speaking inside his or her own head or in her own voice, and it sounds like when you are reading silently to yourself, or that you're pretty much talking to yourself in your head. On some occasions, the medium may also hear the actual voice that the spirit had when they were living. Claircognizance, which is clear knowing. Claircognizance is the ability to know something without a logical reason or facts. It may help to think of it as an inner knowing. Like if you know that you shouldn't trust your new neighbor or get on that airplane, but you don't know why. That is claircognizance. Let's talk a little bit about ESP. ESP is also broken up into time differentials. Precognitions, which means premonitions, to perceive information about places or events before they happen. Many people report dreams that appear to be precognitive. Retrocognition, which is perceiving information from the past, which is presentiment, empath, and intuition. You receive information about future events, which is said to be perceived as emotions. Unconsciously, the person knew what was coming before it occurred. Psychometry. Psychometry is very similar to clairvoyance, except that the psychometrist usually uses an article that belongs to the client in order to tap into their unique vibration. In some cases, psychics specialized in psychometry will use their own objects to receive information. Then you have remote viewing. Remote viewing is a specialized clairvoyant skill that allows a psychic to travel psychically to another location to describe a scene or event. Once the psychic is in the location, they can read the past, present, and future of that location. Remote viewing is frequently used by psychic investigators to describe crime scenes and how crimes happen. Further, it is used in past life regression sessions so that the psychic can reveal the client's past lives to them through the images that they receive. Now we have crystal ball readings. Crystal ball readings are similar to clairvoyant readings in psychometry. It is psychometric because it involves the use of an object. The trained crystal ball reader will see images or visions through the use of their crystal ball. The skill is often used in Hollywood representations of psychics because it is an excellent prop that can use to convey information on the screen. Clairaudience now is also, we talked about earlier, is clear hearing. A psychic who is clairaudient will receive information, but this also kind of goes hand in hand with channeling. Channeling is often confused with mediumship. It's confused with mediumship. However, both are very different forms of psychic communications. All channels have the gift of clairaudience, yet the channel has a unique ability to access audio frequencies and receive information from disembodied beings such as spirit guides or angels. One of the persons that I would like to describe as being clairaudient would be Esther Hicks. She channels a spiritual being or a disembodied being called Abraham. So the channel will convey the messages to the client. In addition, channels will often serve as facilitators to assist clients to access their own higher guidance. Automatic writing is also a form of channeling. Okay, we're going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about telephone readings versus in-person readings and what is the difference.
Are you looking for a new perspective in life? Victoria Alvarado, psychic medium in Houston, Texas, is one of the top 5 fortune tellers in the area. With her gift, she has spiritually guided thousands from around the world. She identifies and removes obstacles that prevent you from achieving your full potential in life, love, and career. Other services include psychic tarot readings, chakra balancing, aura cleansings, Reiki healing, and more.
We want to talk about Victoria Alvarado. She is the real thing. She was able to pick up on my love issues, for which was true. With Victoria, she's very in sync with energy. And she was able to pick up on my energy right away.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I've been seeing Victoria now for 3.5 years. I was hurting somehow. She pinpointed the areas that were being affected. I gave her a call and she started the healing process. Immediately afterwards, she told me about how my body was going to heal and how I could help it heal along. And I noticed a change immediately.
Hi, I'm psychic medium Victoria Alvarado. As a psychic, I'm able to connect to the past, present, and future. And as a medium, able to connect to your loved ones and those that are in spirit. And if you ever wanted to know about your future and what the future holds for you, or if you needed to find answers to those daunting questions that are lingering in your mind, contact me at www.victoriaalvarado.com.
And we are back. You're listening to Evolve with Psychic Medium Victoria Alvarado, and we're going to talk about telephone readings versus in-person readings. Whether you're searching for a medium, psychic, intuitive healing, or spiritual clearings, or tarot readings in person or via telephone, from the perspective of accuracy, telephone readings and in-person readings are equal. You can be anywhere as long as your own spirit, your soul, is there to listen. The message gets through, and that's the most important part, that you receive the messages you need to receive from spirit. Now, your loved ones, guides, and angels do not currently have a physical body on this earth. Therefore, this doesn't bind them from coming to your medium. So what I'm saying is that there is very little that binds them from able to relay the messages to your reader or the medium, regardless of where they are or where you are. Without a physical body, they are not subject to the same limitations that you may have to getting to a medium. Such as having one in your local area, if it's in the case of an in-person reading, or having access to a telephone or computer. In the case of a telephone reading, there really is no difference, that the person on the other side is connecting to the energy of source. So since spirits and angels and guides and loved ones are on the other side, then since they don't have a physical body that we have ourselves, which are limited to, they can pretty much go anywhere and at any time or any place, as long as all the energies show up. You don't have to worry about the cost of travel. The angels and the spirit guides don't have to worry about the cost of travels or the finances of a reading, or rush hour traffic, or delays and accidents along the way. All things that could prevent you from meeting with a medium for an in-person reading. In fact, all they need to know, which is, when I say they, is your spiritual guides, your ancestors, your loved ones that are on the other side. All they need to know is with whom they are meeting with and when to be there. Okay, so they're going to show up when the moment that you schedule your appointment. As long as you're there, they're going to be there, and that way y'all can have a three-way conversation during the time of your appointment. That's right. As soon as your reading is set up, your loved ones, your guides and angels, are free to travel to get to your reading. So they don't have any limitations like we do, because they know where they are going and when to be there. As long as they know who they're going to, your loved ones, guides, and angels can travel to your medium regardless of distance. In fact, I think that they sort of float on over here. So after that, the difference between a telephone reading and in-person session is simply a matter of personal preference. Many mediums prefer telephone readings, and the reason is that while in-person readings are truly a magical experience, many psychic mediums really enjoy telephone readings. Without a physical person directly sitting in front of them, it is often easier to connect and stay focused and streamline the information out from those in spirit who are present. Many psychic mediums can get a clearer connection with only spirit in their physical space. So the message, the recipient in another physical space is a lot easier, because we don't have to have that physical limitation of having that person in front of us. It's a lot easier to connect because we're able to literally control our environment and the energy versus having the other person in the environment being nervous or scared, or because we tune into all the energies. Which again doesn't mean more or less accurate. It just means that for the medium, it may be easier to concentrate, which wouldn't generally affect the type of information that comes through because it's equal in accuracy, but it could affect the quantity, speed, and flow at which it does come in. Meaning in some cases, you could actually receive more information. In fact, having you non-present in a physical space in the reading can actually help reduce accidental biases of your message. What that means is that if something concerns you, or your energy is just all over the place, we're able to control that in our own environment through a telephone session. In a telephone reading, since you are not present in physical form, the psychic medium cannot see anything about you, so we're not able to make a biased judgment about you, about who you are, what you are about. Thus, we couldn't really do a cold read on you or infer information from your appearance that can be biased, and it comes specifically from spirit. So many mediums prefer to do telephone readings because there's nothing there to influence us based on the reading, based on your body language, or based on your appearance, that it can interfere from the authenticity of the reading that we receive, or the message that we receive from those on the other side. Now, we're going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to give you your angel message for the weekend.
We want to talk about Victoria Alvarado. She is the real thing. She was able to pick up on my love issues, for which was true. With Victoria, she's very in sync with energy, and she was able to pick up on my energy right away.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I've been seeing Victoria now for 3.5 years. I was hurting somehow. She pinpointed the areas that were being affected. I gave her a call, and she started the healing process. Immediately afterwards, she told me about how my body was going to heal and how I could help it heal along. And I noticed a change immediately.
Hi, I'm psychic medium Victoria Alvarado. As a psychic, I'm able to connect to the past, present, and future. And as a medium, able to connect to your loved ones and those that are in spirit. And if you ever wanted to know about your future and what the future holds for you, or if you needed to find answers to those daunting questions that are lingering in your mind, contact me at www.victoriaalvarado.com.
Are you looking for a new perspective in life? Victoria Alvarado, psychic medium in Houston, Texas, is one of the top 5 fortune tellers in the area. With her gift, she has spiritually guided thousands from around the world. She identifies and removes obstacles that prevent you from achieving your full potential in life, love, and career. Other services include psychic tarot readings, chakra balancing, aura cleansings, Reiki healing, and more.
We are back. You're listening to Evolve with Psychic Medium Victoria Alvarado. Here is your angel message for the weekend. When it comes to your career, if you're questioning whether or not to stay, look for a second income or find another job. Your guides say that you know deep down inside exactly what you need to do. Your main focus lately has been on your career rather than your relationships. You feel the need to rise above this little slump that you're in, and you feel that at this time that you are not getting ahead or making ends meet the way that you feel you should. So the angels feel your frustration, and they see that you are not quite at peace at the moment. But don't worry, because Archangel Raphael and Archangel Raziel are here to help you. The angels ask you to let go of any self-limiting beliefs, emotions of lack and limitation, and all negative thought forms that are keeping you vibrationally stuck. They ask you to take at least 15 minutes out of your day to get centered and connect to them through meditation. You're going to want to clear your mind of all the challenges and obstacles that the day or the week has brought you, and relax and allow the thoughts to flow out until you feel and hear total silence. Once you feel at peace, allow the angels to clear away all your worries and listen to the subtle messages and nudges from deep within your psyche. If you still feel a nudge to change jobs and you feel moving on to something better, then let go of any guilt you may have. Many of you may feel a sense of loyalty and want to stay out of guilt of leaving. But if you are certain that you are absolutely tired of the career that you're in or the job isn't looking great at the moment, then search for something new, because something new is on the horizon, and the angels want you to be happy and will help you find the job that will bring you all the joy that you seek. So this is your weekend messages from the angels. If you would like to have a private consultation with me, please visit us at victoriaalvarado.com. And if you use the code SUMMER, SUMMER, when booking your session, you will receive a 40% off until the end of the month of September. Tune in every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time to Psychic Connections with Psychic Medium Victoria Alvarado, and you'll have an opportunity to call in to receive a free mini psychic reading live on the air. You'll call 281-899-8029 during the time of the live audience recording. And again, you have a blessed day, and you've been listening to Evolve, where we help you and teach you and show you how to heal, thrive, grow, and transform your life in amazing ways. You have a good night and a blessed day.